US President, Nobel Peace Prize is a living dream. Keeps talking about how he should get it and how he deserves it more than anybody else in the world. And now, Donald Trump's Nobel dream has got a new powerful backer.
He said he deserved the Nobel Prize. Not once, not twice, 6 times, in a single post. And not in humility or grace, but in signature Trump fashion, laced with sarcasm, bloated with ego, and launched like a missile at the world's moral compass. This isn't the story of a man seeking peace. This is the story of a man so obsessed with glory, he'd play chicken with World War III just to wear a medal.
Benjamin Netanyahu has made his third dash to Washington, D.C. this year. The Israeli Prime Minister announcing he's nominated the US President for a Nobel Peace Prize.
In a world where millions struggle just to survive, Donald Trump's thoughts were elsewhere, floating high above the chaos like a lone beacon of self-aggrandizement, bathed in the allure of glimmering, unattainable gold. The Nobel Peace Prize.
Trump could be getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Netanyahu today nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize.
His declarations weren't soft-spoken appeals for unity. They were booming, arrogant proclamations of conquest over global conflict. "I stopped the war between India and Pakistan," he boasted with a smirk that bordered on disbelief. "I stopped the war between Iran and Israel," he added with the same careless bravado. And then came the final, jaw-dropping punchline. "Yet they still won't give me the Nobel Prize." The sheer audacity of these claims is almost comical, if it weren't so perilously dangerous. His statements smacked of a warped, self-serving narrative where every military maneuver, every diplomatic rift, and every drop of bloodshed were mere stepping stones to a trophy that would enshrine his legacy.
The war in Gaza will be the focus of discussion at the White House tonight. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will join President Trump for a private dinner closed to the media. Their meeting comes as Israeli officials hold indirect talks with Hamas aimed at reaching a ceasefire deal.
He claimed victory in conflicts that he arguably helped orchestrate, all in a relentless pursuit of a medal that would cement his place as the world's ultimate peacemaker. But beneath this narcissistic symphony of self-praise lies a far more sinister tale, a story of calculated conflict, manipulated media narratives, and a trail of devastation that stretches from Tel Aviv to Tehran. Each outrageous claim, each ridiculous boast was not a testament to genuine leadership, but a carefully choreographed act designed to seduce the world into believing that he alone could rewrite the rules of global diplomacy.
And Donald Trump is fuming over being overlooked for the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's making sure the world knows about it.
On June 13th, 2025, at 3 a.m., over 200 Israeli fighter jets roared into Iranian airspace. No warning, no provocation. It was a coordinated strike targeting over 100 nuclear, military, and civilian sites. Over 80 people died, and more than 320 were injured, including high-profile scientists and military leaders. And yet, Iran had not fired a single shot. Why? Because according to Israel, suspicion was enough. Iran might be building nuclear weapons. Might.
Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
And with that, Operation Rising Lion was unleashed.
The strikes were part of Operation Rising Lion.
Operation Rising Lion.
Operation Rising Lion.
An unprovoked, aggressive assault justified under the vague pretense of self-defense.
We have risen like lions to defend ourselves.
It wasn't just war, it was strategy. Because just 10 days earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump's close ally, had begun his corruption trial, a trial that could end his career. A trial where he answered, "I don't remember," a staggering 1,778 times. Coincidence? Or the perfect smokescreen? As the bombs fell and innocent civilians perished, all 3 leaders, Trump, Netanyahu, and Iran's supreme leader, did the unthinkable. They declared themselves the winner. A war with no clear purpose. A war with no end goal. And yet, a war from which everyone tried to extract political capital. Donald Trump, however, was different. He didn't want territory. He didn't want justice. He wanted credit. He positioned himself not just as a participant, but as the architect of peace, the only one who could stop World War III. Forget the lives lost. Forget the chaos. In Trump's world, this was about him.
But I'll be your peacemaker, and I am the only candidate who can make this promise to you. I will prevent World War III.
He didn't end a war. He staged one, or at least leveraged it, for his image, for his campaign, for that elusive Nobel Prize. The irony? He created the very chaos he now wanted credit for stopping. The truth is undeniable. It was Donald Trump who tore up the nuclear deal with Iran in 2018, a deal that Barack Obama painstakingly negotiated, a deal that kept Iran from enriching uranium beyond 3.67%, a deal that ensured peace through diplomacy.
Today, the United States, together with our allies and partners, has reached a historic understanding with Iran, which, if fully implemented, will prevent it from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
But Trump, blinded by jealousy, declared the deal defective and withdrew.
The Iran deal is defective at its core. The United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
No alternative, no plan, no reason, except perhaps to shred the Obama legacy. And what came next was predictable. With sanctions reimposed and inspections blocked, Iran resumed enriching uranium. By 2025, they had stockpiled 60% enriched uranium, enough, according to some reports, to build 10 nuclear weapons. And then, suddenly, Trump sounds the alarm. A problem he created becomes a threat only he can solve. The perfect setup.
He forged the Abraham Accords. He's forging peace as we speak in one country and one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, baby.
On June 21st, 2025, the United States launched a massive airstrike. 125 U.S. planes entered Iranian airspace. 14 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator bombs, the most powerful bunker busters in existence, were dropped on Iran's nuclear sites. A 37-hour non-stop mission led by B-2 stealth bombers, televised, publicized, and narrated like an action movie. Trump declared victory before the dust had settled. Total obliteration, he said. Spectacular military success. He wasn't addressing Iran, he was addressing the Nobel Committee. But reality quickly interrupted his fantasy. The Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency contradicted him. Their initial assessment? Iran's nuclear program was only delayed, not destroyed. The core components survived. The uranium had been moved. Trump had bombed empty rooms and broadcasted it to the world as a triumph. It was the performance of a man not interested in truth, only in applause. Meanwhile, Iran retaliated, not out of ambition, but for show. They warned Qatar, they warned the US, and then they fired missiles, mostly intercepted, at an American airbase. Little damage, no casualties, just enough to show their people that they had fought back. And then, the war stopped. A sudden ceasefire, arranged not through diplomacy, but through deals. Trump talked to Netanyahu, Qatar talked to Iran. Iran promised no further attacks. America promised to back off. The curtain fell, the actors took a bow. But even after the peace was declared, Trump was furious because Israel continued bombing Iran for a few more hours. He scolded Netanyahu like a director yelling at an actor for missing his cue. "You don't go out in the first hour and drop everything you have," Trump raged. "I'm not happy with Israel. I'm not happy with Iran either." Because in his eyes, they had ruined the climax of his performance. He had written the script. They were just supposed to follow it. Behind the speeches, the tweets, the dramatic pauses, what was Trump really fighting for? Not for justice, not for safety, not for peace. He was fighting for a photo, for a headline, for a spot on the global stage. He wanted his own version of that iconic Obama moment. He wanted his Nobel, even as Tucker Carlson, once his staunchest supporter, turned against him. Even as America's own intelligence agencies contradicted his claims. Even as international watchdogs confirmed there was no imminent nuclear threat from Iran. Trump didn't care. He believed that perception was reality. And if enough people believed he was a peacemaker, maybe the Nobel Committee would too. He wasn't acting as a president. He was acting as a publicist, for himself. Trump's Nobel obsession was never about peace. It was about ego. It was about rewriting history, with himself at the center, draped in gold. But the world cannot afford to award peace to those who treat war as theater. Not when lives are lost. Not when democracies are manipulated. Not when the truth is sacrificed at the altar of vanity. If we reward this behavior with applause, if we allow history to be written by the loudest voice, we risk repeating this tragedy again and again. Because next time, the war might not be 12 days long. Next time, there might not be a warning. Next time, the price of one man's ego could be the world itself. The Nobel Peace Prize is not for sale, and it should never be given to the man who brought the match, lit the fire, and then demanded a medal for putting it out.